Thanks so much for coming over and joining us tonight. I'm really glad that you could find the time to do this. And what I'd like to do is share a little something for your doctor associates, and also for Dr. Ala Abu Saif here in Santa Ana, who you'll be seeing in a few days. You know, I've been researching the Consortium for quite a number of years now, and I've done a lot more work on it recently because of my interest in having an underwriting for Pat and Billy Inc. And for Rio de Luz Studios of a private nature. We are in a position to have some bridge loans and construction loans that would subsidize what we're doing in areas like Ramona and Palma Valley and the North San Diego County area, where our base studio for Rio de Luz Location Studios will be located. But the Consortium is an interesting approach to investing. It's very much like a joint venture of a group of professionals that come together to have enough leverage so that they have a stronger position in the finance for a development, and in this particular case, for construction. One of the questions you asked me earlier was, one of the doctors was concerned about, well, what do they really own in this effort? And by putting up this loan that they get paid back in interest for, and they get the money back, half of it in 3 years, the balance in a total of 5. And so in that regard, my answer to that question is, you're actually presenting them with a gift, because 1% of the stock that you have reserved goes to that group of doctors, the Los Angeles group, let's say, and another percent goes to the Santa Ana group, and that gift represents 1,000 shares for each consortium. That is their gift, and sort of like a bonus, if you will, in a way, for them making the loan to begin with, and they get that right up front. Then the interest rate, although it's a low one, there is, believe it or not, current money available now in San Diego at 5.75% interest that we've been offered for interim construction lending. And it has to be paid back on a little sooner basis, but that interest is not so much more than the 5% that we want to pay the consortium members. They are members, and there's only so many. There's 12 to 13 in each consortium, and that membership remains theirs in perpetuity in that consortium, and everything that comes from that investment, regardless of its size and growth. And so that return is added, and what the production of that corporation, of the movies, the television, the real estate, the rentals, all of the income is included in what that corporation makes, and they benefit from their stock and the return from that in that corporation. And so our position very simply is that we want sound individuals of an independent nature to be able to be part of our funding source. And then on top of that, we're interested in a couple of our shows in having professionals, especially in the medical profession, to provide us with materials and to partake and be part of these shows that we're putting on a format that we call the Good News. And we're very excited about this show, because rather than all this terrible news you see at the 11 o'clock or the 5 o'clock news every day, we want to present good news, news that is of a positive nature, informing people and being community oriented, and they would be part of that. The doctors would benefit from people understanding the good work that they do, and for the public that watches these programs that we produce to know where they can get this service and what can be done. And interesting and unusual stories are going to be brought to the foreground in that regard. So with respect to the consortium, their investment, the money that they put up is protected by the real estate as well as by the income of the studio and the rentals that are paid by production companies for using those premises. We project by about 24 months a steady income of about $65 million gross a year. Now, it is costly to operate a studio and a production facility, but a steady flow of $65 million a year is pretty good. And that's reflected in the stock ownership. The other thing is that they get 1,000 shares as a gift from you right now in joining this consortium and putting it together of these members. But that 1,000 shares they get today after a private placement memorandum is done, those shares graduate and grow, and we believe that they're going to grow to somewhere in the neighborhood of about 250,000 shares. And that's the kind of growth pattern we expect to come from that in that 5-year period while we put together that private placement memorandum. Just to cap things off, I'm glad that you were able to come this evening and to take away with you this information on the Doctors Consortium Basic Agreement, of which you and I are part of. We're going to be in that group with them and part of that group, and there to assist and help them all the time. And we're going to have this meeting, this get-together, this workshop on what's going on with the studio, the building of it, the homes that we're going to build for people that are going to assist in the studio work that we're doing, the talent, the art, and keep them abreast of what's going on with this investment and their stock on a regular basis. Eventually, we'll get it down to where there's one meeting a month. But this is about open door and sharing and asking for their help as well, especially in the area of our productions. So I hope this has been of some value to you. It's in a very, we're not showing off tonight and showing our big fancy recreation room here where we're going to hold these and have everybody around, but just a little casual get-together so I can say hello to the doctors and welcome them to call on me and welcome you to call on me for anything that you need. And I hope you enjoyed our little repast here. Next week we're having stuffed cabbage, and I wouldn't miss that if I were you, because it's a good one. Thanks a lot, and I appreciate it. Have a great tomorrow.